Grandmaster Clementi Sitchev plays the audacious pawn to h4, the plough, taking the fight to world number 1, Cagnanimous Milesonium. He responds with d5 here, staring down the barrel of the greatest opening in chess history, as voted by these guys on the Global Chess Committee recently. What a fight this is. Titillating Tuesday, round 8, online elite chess, Magnus fighting for first. We get d4 now played. Knight f6, Magnus brings it out, softly neighing like a pony as he goes. Now knight c3, and after the c-pawn advances, fighting for the centre, not to be outdone, Clementi goes pawn e4. Look at the tension. It's like a day in the fair play office when Vladimir Kramnik comes a-knocking. Who'd want to be sat there? Now we get takes on e4, knight recaptures, pawn takes back, and d5, like Moses parting Magnus's Red Sea. A pawn down, yes, but preparing to recoup this one day, Magnus having none of it. He now goes a6, stopping any bishop b5 shenanigans, so bishop f4 is played, and e6. He immediately gives back the pawn to accelerate his development. Now we see takes on e6, and it's a brave move against the world number 1, who loves to lop off the queens, grind like a grandma deep into the endgame. This is what we see. Bishop recaptures, and now how about this for an ugly move? Knight to h3. That is one pony sidelined, soggier than poached
mushrooms.
Who'd want to put it there? h6 now played to take control of g5 and i5. The bishop drops back to e3. May we? A pony comes this way. Knight c6 played, and knight f4. Puts the question to this one, and the game now really explodes. Because what do? Do you just leave it there, maybe develop another piece, or do you go bishop takes on a2, which Magnus does with a whoosh? Now this is dangerous, because b3 traps that bishop. What's the great escape going to be? Well, knight b4, and Magnus starts digging his tunnel here. Now rook c1 looks natural, but then you leave the d file, and black gets some nice development with the rook and the bishop here. So instead, rook d2 is the best move, covering here as well as keeping an eye on key squares. And now bishop b1 from Magnus, not the most precise, but he's going straight after the pawn, defended with king d1. Best move to hold things together. Now Magnus goes rook to d8, king c1, and what's going on here? Magnus's bishop is genuinely trapped, so he has to take on c2. We see rook recaptures, knight takes, king takes. Let's assess the position. Magnus has got a rook for 2 minors, usually bad, but with 3 pawns as well. It's some kind of dynamic equilibrium. That's what we see after bishop d6, and after move 18, Clementi has navigated the opening after pawn h4 coming out equal. What a guy. And it's a moment where we need to segue into the sponsors of this video. Chessbook, an absolutely phenomenal, genuinely opening tool. I've been using it now for about 1.5 years. Really good one-stop shop to build your opening repertoire. But here's the best bit. You connect it with your Lichess or chess.com. It then scrapes your games, pulls them in, so it helps you build the repertoire in the first place. But then when you play online, it then brings in those games and shows you where you made mistakes. So you dynamically learn, build the repertoire, and then the best bit, you're not just plugging in moves, mindlessly learning like a robot, but it gives you all these hints and tips and themes of a position, right? Why you're actually developing the pieces to the square, what the plans are. It's like having a mini grandmaster sat right next to you. Very powerful tool and cheap as well. I'm talking a cup of coffee a month. Use the link down in the description. You know the drill here. Trust me, excellent tool. Really take that rating to the next level. Use this one to help. Now back to the chess here. bishop d6 played, we get g3 from Clementi, cementos that knight there, Magnus Castles, bishop g2 and rook fe8. What a fascinating contest this is. You give Magnus either colour here, he comes out on top, right? Now this is deep stuff. Bishop e5 to d4 is a strong manoeuvre, and one of the top ways to fight against it is knight e2 or rook e1. Both with the idea we're going to see h5 played to stop g5 given the question mark, but now after bishop e5 here you can't take on e4. This is why you needed the knight here so that black can't take it, or a rook on e1 to x-ray defend the bishop on e4, because now if you take here, you know, bishop takes and the rook drops. This is the problem. But in those other lines you could have taken the pawn when the defense was interrupted if you'd moved the knight or moved the rook to x-ray, but this was played. Now knight e2 and Magnus turns his bishop into a pope. Look at the strength of that one in the center there, shooting in all directions, and you don't want to connect these powerful pawns. So knight c3 played, going after e4 a different way. f5 possible but not played. Presumably then the bishop starts attacking in a new way. So Magnus goes b5, ditches the center here. The knight takes, given the question mark, but we're not going to get lost down every rabbit hole. Looks so natural. And now after bishop takes on e3, pawn recaptures, the structure is completely shattered. This is what Magnus is playing against. f5 possible immediately, swapping c pawn for e pawn, but rook e5 played, an iron cross in the center of the board, covers these pawns, and that's why g4, to protect this one. The rook no longer has to babysit, but after Magnus stacks the two towers a la Tolkien, king d3 possible, now we see the pressure barreling down that file. Knight d6 played instead. Given the miss, Magnus saves the rook, hits the knight, it rotates to f5, looks so natural, but you cannot keep it there forever. It's too powerful. Magnus now goes g6, shows why it's on rocky ground, and after captures, pawn takes back. Yes, he's shedding a pawn here, but he's getting rid of the knight. Now how to take? Different ways. Clementi goes for the absolute trickiest. Love this move. Rook takes on h6, and it sets this devilish trap. If you capture the knight here, not played, then there's this rook takes back, and bishop d5. What an absolutely deadly skewer. You're getting mincemeated, you're even losing an entire rook after this pawn captures. Of course this is lost. So Magnus marches with king f7, now he covers the rook. There is a threat to take the knight, so it backpedals after a check, now it goes, and after it's on its bike, everything collapsing. Knight attacked, covered with the rook, but this is a nice finish, simple tactics. We get rook e2 check, given the brilliancy, because you sack back an exchange, but then win back the piece. We saw resignation here. This is how the line goes, 2 pawns to the good, miles up on the clock, we see resignation. And this was then the final results of the Titled Tuesday early tournament. Do smash subscribe if you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to check out Chessbook, what a tool that is, and check out the video on screen for another epic game of Magnus Chess in this very opening. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon.